Ruby, Franke, and Jodi Hildebrand did appear in court recently, and if I'm just being completely honest, guys, I do think that these women has completely lost their minds. Okay, so when they got in court, Ruby had a custody hearing for her and Kevin's 4 children. Ruby became very emotional in court and basically started to blame everything on her children. She went to the extreme, y'all. She even went as far as saying that her 3-year-old had been watching inappropriate content, something that rhymes with corn. But this is so weird to me though, because if you guys know of the 8 passengers, she is, first of all, she's always filmed her children. She is very, very, very active on social media. She's always talking about how she is so strict on them and how well she monitors them. Obviously, that's why she was a part of that connection BS. But anyways, none of that has to do with what's going on at hand. What Ruby has said and how she has behaved in court is honestly scary. It's insane to think that someone would go to the extent of blaming their children for something, thinking it's going to get her off the hook. Let's just say if that was the case, that her children were viewing inappropriate activity or inappropriate content. For one, I thought you were so strict on your kids and that you viewed and that you monitored everything that they were watching. How the heck did they even have access to that, if that's the case? And let's just pretend that they were indeed watching this type of content. How does that constitute for the way that you treated them? I mean, these kids went without eating. These kids had duct tape around their wrists, around their ankles. They had sores. Like, this was ridiculous. So I'm just really having a hard time processing everything that is going on with Ruby. And like I said, really hard for me to process everything because it's just not adding up. And another thing is, at Ruby's big age of 41 and her children's small age of 4 or 5, I don't know, literal children, I'm not understanding how you make claims of their type of behavior when you're their mother. And because of some of the claims that she made in court, she even said that those kids should not be around other kids. Like, they've harmed themselves, they've harmed each other, and they've even harmed other children. She even went as far as saying one of her children SA'd 20 other kids in the area, which is insane. Even if it is true, guys, this is a case that is truly getting to me, and I don't know how much more I can take. I don't know how much insanity can be in one person. It's just really sickening to hear. But yeah, so she made that claim against her own child and saying that the child was viewing inappropriate content and blase blase. Then after that, the judge actually ordered that the children cannot be around other kids. The kid was placed by themselves based on what Ruby had been saying or what she claimed in court. Kevin was there. Ruby Frank's husband, Kevin, he was there in court, but he had no comment on all of the allegations that she was making against her children. So the next hearing is going to be sometime later September. So we'll wait for that. Another thing I heard about recently was the phone call between the neighbor and the dispatcher. When I tell you, that was the saddest phone call I heard in my life. And it was a man, a grown man, on the phone with a 911 dispatcher, literally trying to hold it all together. Like, you can tell he's losing it. The dispatcher asked, "Do you guys need an ambulance?" He told them no. But as he started to look at the child and look at the details on around the duct tape, around the arms and the ankles, you can literally hear him trying to hold it together, and he's telling 911 dispatcher, like, you know what, that may be a good idea. Because at first he told the 911 dispatcher that he does not need an ambulance, that you can just get law enforcement out here and we'll be all good. But no, as he started to actually pay attention to the child and the detail, you can hear the sniffles in his tone. You can hear the sniffles through the phone, and you can just hear how sad this is, guys. And you can tell that he really didn't want to scare the little boy because he was trying to hold it together himself. So that, when I heard that phone call, that shook me up as well, and it just did not sit well. Now, I heard this phone call the same day, but after the hearing. So I just think that just adds a little bit more fuel to the fire. Like, I mean, yeah, we know that a call was placed, but to actually hear hear that call and to hear the tone, and it's just not really a great feeling. Yeah, I am still praying for this family. Now, a lot of people are on the fence about who should have custody of the children, whether they should be placed with family or with Kevin, but a lot of people are concerned about the idea of the children staying with Kevin. Kevin is requesting for the kids to be under his quote fatherly care, and when he said fatherly care, that kind of struck a lot of people the wrong way. People are also not rocking with the idea of him having custody of the kids, because they kind of just feel like he is also to blame here and that he had some sort of doing with this. And though I agree, I kind of disagree, guys, because hear me out. Now, I am not a fan of 8 Passengers, obviously. I was never a subscriber of 8 Passengers, but if you ask me, just based on the type of woman Ruby has illustrated herself to be, and it's kind of sickening because you know that this situation is bad because she doesn't see any wrong with it. Things become very problematic when the suspect sees no wrong in their actions. Like, she literally thinks that this is okay. Now, back to Kevin, I do think that maybe he's afraid of her too. Maybe she's more psychotic than we think. I mean, we know that she's obviously lost her marbles, but what if she's literally like all the way psychotic done? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, because I don't think Kevin was in connections and the kids have not spoken out about their dad ever harming them. Now, on the phone call, on the 911 phone call, the dispatcher did ask the neighbor, did the child mention anything about the parents' whereabouts? The only person that the kids spoke about first was the dad, and he said, my dad is not here. My dad does not live here. So we do know that Kevin moved out a little bit earlier this year. But guys, that is it for today's video. Please leave your thoughts in the comments as we continue to look into this case. Like I said, this is a very sad, sick situation, if you ask me. I am continuing to pray for these babies, and hopefully we can get some more information soon. I will see you guys next video.